Welcome back and thank you for joining in to the Expert Real Estate Team channel. Today we're going to talk about negotiating tips for first-time buyers. To be a good negotiator, there are several things you need to do. Number one, know what you want, know what your boundaries are. You don't want to get too excited and overbuy. Don't get too emotional. You pay more when you become emotional. Those are the first two tips. Some other things that you may want to be thinking about when you are thinking about buying a property is, number one, knowing the contract. So sit down with the realtor. I recommend you going through the contract paragraph by paragraph, knowing which sections are important to you. For instance, if you need closing cost help, and that's a non-starter, you've got to have closing cost help. You know, we need to make sure we keep those things in. So you need to know what's important to you as a buyer. It's also important to know what the seller's looking for. So for instance, I've got one seller right now who she would like to stay, 15 to 30 days past closing. Long story short, we ended up negotiating just a longer closing date to help make the buyers feel comfortable. But know what each party is looking for out of the transaction to make it a win-win for both parties. You also need to know what kind of market that you are in depending on your price point. Right now in Greenville County, we are in a buyer's market, normal market, and a seller's market. It just depends on what price point that you're looking in. Different negotiating tools come out of that. Also, back to the contract, you need to know the whole thing with due diligence. There are things like termination fees that is basically your skin in the game to let the seller know that you're serious. But if it is a buyer's market, you may not need a termination fee. A lot of negotiating is going to depend on what type of market that you're in. Why is negotiating important? Everybody wants the best deal. They want the cheapest price or the most money, depends on which side that you're on. Each party is going to have different things that's their hot button. So that's why it's not just getting the best price. A lot of times it's the best terms for you. I've run across every single type of negotiator. A lot of times we'll have buyers make an offer and they think, oh, I'm all cash, I can get a better deal. Well, at the end of the day, it's less risk, but it all comes to the buyer in cash or into their bank account. So cash is not always king. It may make you able to close sooner. So don't be all hung up on it's all cash. Several times we've had buyers that want to make an offer but don't want to be insulting to the seller. One thing I can tell you is make the offer. I mean, I have some sellers that say, heck no, but I don't tell the buyer that. We just tell them no. Make the offer. The only offer that's an insult is the offer that's not made. All they can do is tell you no. Just, either raise your offer or move on to a different property. Whatever you do, when you make an offer, make sure you work with a skilled agent. Sit down and be prepared and plan. And again, know those contracts or at least the hot points for you. That way you can end up achieving your goals in the end and you end up in a win-win situation and get the property that you want. I hope this is helpful. If you liked it, make sure you hit subscribe and thumbs up and all the stuff that everybody tells you to do.